I'm going to begin. I mean, it's an incredible story, and I've got to be honest, it's one I didn't actually know anything really about until I saw it yesterday. And one with so much cinematic potential. It must have come your way, and you must have just thought, yes, this is exactly the story I'd like to tell right now.
Well, this is quite an unusual thing for me to do, a submarine movie. It's not my normal path, I would say. But when Matthias Schoenaerts sent me the script, he was attached and he wanted me to do it. So I read it with him in mind, and I was moved by it. It was that simple. It just came to life immediately when I read it, and I felt there was an opportunity to elevate this from being a political thriller to be something grander about life and death.
Because you made Submarine, but that wasn't actually about submarines.
It was not about submarines.
Was this your way of just finally going, I've done it?
I made Submarino, which was about dope addicts and losers, whereas this is about bravery and heroes, I guess.
Because I mean, we do see films. I think that we get sort of films every year about taking it to the absolute limit, where we see how far the sort of human condition can go when we're facing death effectively. What do you think it is about that particular theme and that strand in cinema that makes such compelling viewing? Because it's always, I found it so fascinating to watch characters on screen that are sort of facing up to what looks like their sort of definite death, I suppose.
Right. Well, my wife is a priest, okay, so we talk about life and death, but she told me that in general people have stopped talking about death. There's a focus on youth and about optimizing your life, but there's no real sense of it's all going to end. And she claims that it's become the obligation of the movie of the world of movies and literature to talk about these issues, and that's where people dig into this, to those grander issues. And watching that on screen also becomes very specific suddenly. When they dive 3 minutes to get air, it's super basic and essential and cut down to what life is about. It's about trying to get air, right?
Because I thought, I mean, this film in some ways, it felt like three parallel stories. You had the guys trying to survive, then you had the wives and families left behind, and then you obviously had this really political undercurrent to it. And in regards to the politics, which really enriched this tale, I was reading something about that there could have been an actor playing Putin at one stage, and that fell through. What was the kind of story behind that one? Was there ever an idea to actually have someone in the movie portraying him?
Well, I was never threatened to cut out the Putin character.
Yeah.
I just didn't like the idea of having Putin in there, because it, for me, narrowed it down to becoming a political thing that I will leave to the journalists. Putin was only 100 days into his work at this point. He was on vacation when this happened. And I find the story amongst those sailors and their wives and the Northern Fleet was grander and more interesting. And also, I didn't want to see yet another actor trying to portray Putin. I felt it was too small somehow, so we cut it out.
And I was wondering too, I mean, it's an incredible cast for starters, but Max von Sydow really stood out as just someone that we just don't get to see too often on screen at the moment. And it just sort of warms my heart seeing him back on screen, because he's such an incredible performer with such an incredible history. What was it like directing him in this instance and collaborating with him on this project?
Well, for me, Max von Sydow is a legend. He's all the Bergman movies, and he's got such a long, rich, fantastic history. And then he's the warmest and nicest man to meet. I really enjoyed working with him, and I can reveal to you that on his last day of shooting, which was in the church at that funeral where the kid refuses to shake his hand, when he was done, everybody stood up and applauded him, all the extras and the film crew, and all the way out to his trailer. There was like this line of people just applauding. He's just done so much for the movies over years, right? It was amazing.
And that's also sort of at odds with the fact that in the movie, every character sort of wants to spit at him, and here, in real life, everyone's clapping him on the way out.
In real life, people just loved him, and it's a tough character in this movie, right?
And just finally, I mean, I was going to ask you sort of what's next for you, because I mean, if you look across the course of your career, there's no two projects feel the same. It feels like every project is so different from the next, and I mean that as a compliment. I mean, I was just wondering, what you've got sort of lined up, I suppose.
Well, my next project will not look anything like Kursk, that's for sure. My next project is Danish, and I'm writing it myself with Tobias Lindholm, my co-writer and a director, by the way. And it's a celebration of alcohol. It's
we won the Second World War with a drunk.
That's what we could keep coming back to in the script. And General Grant won a war as well, and Hemingway did fantastic work under the influence. And it's an acknowledgement of how far you can get with alcohol.
Well, sounds like a good one. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, you're watching Hey You Guys!
Hey You Guys, huh?
Hey You Guys.
Is that from the Goonies?
It is indeed, yes.
Nice.
Hey You